Start your day off right with the New American Media mug. It's black and white and red all over. Shoot me a Venmo. Shipping included. It's $40. It's at Brian Engelman. Let me put that up on the screen. If you want some merch this wonderful new year, I will give you the links, but the Venmo is just my name. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. Thank you all for being here. And if you want any coasters to set your drink upon, they're $30 a piece. They're Ohio-made wooden The Unhappy Hour Sports Show coasters. Pins are $25. 2 for $50 on the coasters. Shipping included in the continental United States as well. Just shoot me a Venmo with your address. $75 for all three of these. $40 for the mug if anyone wants some merch this year. So that is how I start the show. Maybe as a tip of the hat to one Scott Adams. Dear Lord, continue to give Scott Adams strength and his medical professionals talent, patience, skill, and precision. And help heal him if it be your will. And if not, give him as much comfort in his remaining time here. Amen. Yeah, Scott Adams has basically said this is his last month. So thoughts and prayers out to a colleague, a mentor. Look, we all take cues from lots of different places. We tune into different shows. Hit like, hit subscribe, by the way. Right now, hit the thumbs up button, hit the hearts button. If you're on YouTube, do the confetti thing. Keep the comments flowing. And click to share the show. Text to a couple of your friends, put it out on Facebook, and go, hey, we gather and talk about the news each day. Join us. We need to double the show. We need to double the viewership. That is the game plan. We need everyone to bring their favorite people in. Bring your friends in. But hit like, hit subscribe. I see Patriot Warrior Texas over there in Rumble. Let's add a sup. Got a sup over there. That is another way that you can support the show. You can become a monthly member, a subscriber to the program. That's on Rumble as well as Rumble Rants in the tip jar. Thank you. I show up to the bar every day. Look, we talk about the things on the TVs behind me. I'm your bartender, Brian the bartender. We're going to talk about you're not supposed to talk about politics and religion in the bar. Those are the most important. Those are the funnest. Why not? We should not start screaming at the person or get violent with them. But if you can control your emotions and prove that you're not an animal, we should be allowed to have conversations in this country. We should be able to have more important conversations in this universe. It's the lack of important conversations that has people feel, I can't be offended. You can't offend me. How dare you? You're damn right I can offend you. You're damn right you can offend me. We need to be able to talk things through, because when we put up a wall, we unfriend people, we just retreat into our corner of crazy, we forget that there's a whole other world out there. And there are people that get off and they get rich by keeping us divided. Oh, damn right, Barack Hussein Obama, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney. Oh, you're damn right. Mitch McConnell, Kevin McCarthy. Where do we need to go back to? Mitt Romney, John McCain, George W. Bush. It's a whole industry to keep us divided. Because if we're distracted over here, they can just reach into our pockets and grab as much as they can. That's what the Minnesota story is about. That's what the Columbus, Ohio story is about. That's what the Somali pirate story is generally about. But it's also the main operating protocol of how the Democrats have been operating for decades. This is their grift. This is their graft. This is their plan. This is their overthrow of the United States to replace the native-born American citizens with non-natural-born citizens, non-natural-born people, illegal aliens, 40 million illegal alien invaders. IDs. Oh, here, take an ID. Drive commercial driver's license. Doesn't matter. You don't have to prove you can read or write the language that all of the road signs are in. Maybe do some U-turns in the middle of the freeway and destroy a couple families. What does it matter? Everybody, CDLs for everyone. That's where we put Oprah Winfrey, a CDL for you, a CDL for you, a CDL for you, a CDL for you. Commercial driver's license. No thanks. Nah, I'm good, dog. I'm good. That doesn't make any sense. Of course, when I bring that up in a libertarian circle, I get, well, you know that there's no difference statistically between illegal aliens, but you don't call them illegal aliens, you call them undocumented migrants or whatever we want to call them. And there's no difference between the amount of crashes that they get into and the ones that American-born citizens get into. So it's not a point. And you have no data to back that up. And there's no data. And show me the data and prove me the data. And whatever data you prove, I'm just going to say it doesn't exist. I'm in this conversation with someone who alleges to be a libertarian. It's frustrating. Sorry, that was a really agitated character I slipped into. Because that's what it feels like. You're reading the responses and they're just... You're going, look, I get that we're supposed to both be freedom and liberty loving people here. But loving an open border so that we can get robbed blind and Laken Riley and Indian commercial driver's license driver that tries to make a U-turn on a 70-mile-an-hour freeway, explodes a car behind them because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because they weren't trained, because they're not properly behind that wheel, and they're putting us all at risk. We're letting all sorts of rapists and murderers into this country. That's ridiculous. It's dangerous. That person would never allow rapists and murderers to hang out in their kitchen. You know what? I'm going to run up to the corner store. I got some errands to run. Hang out with my family. Person that doesn't speak my language, doesn't respect me enough to walk in my country the right way through the front door, provide the proper paperwork, and let the bouncer take a look and see if I'm on the list of do not let these people enter. Just hang out with my family for a while. I got some errands to run. I'll be back in. You know what? It might be an overnighter. I'll see you tomorrow. But no, it's totally cool to let those people into the country to slip into the cracks and cause problems. It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense. The Democrat policies don't make sense. That's why they're importing other people. They've made it illegal to check an ID for voter eligibility in California. It's illegal to prove that you're validly in this country. You are an American citizen with the voting privileges thereof. They've made it illegal because they have become a domestic terrorist organization. You know that. That's why we're here. It's urgent. We're trying to shake each other awake. But we need more people to watch. We need more people. We need every viewer to go tell a couple friends and bring a couple people in. We have to evangelize the program. We hang out. We have a good time. But our nation is burning. You see the church that was set on fire on New Year's Eve? Another one? Europe, maybe Switzerland. I think I covered that yesterday. I might have another story in the stack. We'll see. Previous Brian Engelman sets up the show for current Brian Engelman so that we can deliver the show to you. All throughout the day, I'm sharing stories onto our Instagram feed. By the way, let me put that graphic up on the screen as well. We need you to link up with us in all of the places. Whoop, not that one. The New American Media is on social media with Instagram, Facebook. How many Instagram viewers do we need? We need 50 viewers to get to our first 1,000. So do that. Follow us on Instagram. Create an account if you're not following us on Instagram, because that's where the first portion of the TNAM Daily Show information comes from. We're following 6,500 different accounts. I throw likes out like candy. So there's all sorts of weird. Somebody said, "Hey, are you following this account?" I go, "Huh?" I clicked on it. I'm like, it doesn't look like anything I've ever seen. I don't know who that is. I don't know who calls someone out for following someone on an account, but it was like a foreign account and it was a weird video of just, I don't know, an assembly line or something dumb. I'm like, this doesn't look like anything I would have intentionally followed. And why are you asking? Welcome to the weird world of social media, I suppose. But we're one click away from all these people, which is pretty neat. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, DLive, Locals, and YouTube at The New American Media. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_media_ and subscribe to our podcast at the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. Yeah, we haven't split it up into the TNAM Daily Show. Just everything's under the Agree to Disagree Show for now. Maybe I should change that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. By the way, we also have another podcast called The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show does definitely include our Strictly Football series. We're on season 2, episode 24, with myself, Mike Barra of Ancient Aliens fame and other things. Jim Mitchell, Ezrael Robinson. Ezrael soon to be seen getting sworn in with Department of War Secretary Pete Hegseth in less than a week. That's pretty exciting. Shout out to Izzy. But check out that show, The Unhappy Hour Sports Show, hence the merch, The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. I got a box of merch. I got mugs. I got stuff. I want you all to have it. It's a fun way to support the program, but really, thank you to everybody who's a monthly subscriber on Rumble. Thank you to the monthly subscribers on YouTube. Thank you to the Super Chat donors who toss stuff into the tip jar here while I'm out here hanging out at the bar. I show up at the bar. I play my songs, and I open my guitar case. If you like what you're hearing, toss a couple ducats inside, would you? I sing for my supper, if you will. But that's the new American media. Either you get a script because somebody well-funded has said, look, well, you're charismatic. You seem to draw a crowd. You're good to look at. You're believable. Ding. That's where you get the glint off the teeth. Ding. Here, read this. I hold on. Upon first inspection, it appears as though you're asking me to say something that I don't firmly believe. Yes. Well, about that. This is just entertainment. You see, if you just read what we say, how about, here's a number. How does 700,000 a year sound? Is that a good number? You just do the job and we'll pay you a lot and you can live a nice, comfortable life while we steal your country. I mean, while we push our agenda. I mean, while we report the news. We decide, you report. Well, look, that would really help me and my family. I mean, that sounds really fantastic, but I think my ideals and my core. I'm sorry. Did I say 750? How about 1.5 million? Whoa, mister, that's getting really interesting. By the way, where are you getting all this money from? Well, we can print it out of thin air. I mean, it's totally legitimate. By the way, do we have a deal? No, I just can't. I have firm values. I was raised to care about my country more than money. Okay, 15 million. They're reptilian fork-tongued. Yes. Take the money. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we're either playing on the street corner or we're signed to the major record label. And the only way we got that deal was we held on to our ankles and we sang songs that we didn't believe in. And we let you direct the music videos to turn them demonic. And there's a price you pay to sell your soul, is there not? There's a price you pay to sell your soul. And there's also a challenge that comes along with pulling out the machete, unsheathing the machete from the scabbard and hacking our own way through the forest for 15 years. 15 years, the new American media has been hacking our way through the forest. The Agree to Disagree show, the TNAM Daily show, the new American media, all of the things. And yes, we do cover sports because it's fun. There's only so much fun you can have when the nation is being shaken to its core, being peeled of our protective skin, poisoned in the mind, in the wallets, in our hearts, our soul, our psyche, the air, the water, earth, air, wind, water, fire. Together we are a new American media. Yay! But it's urgent. Did you hear Commie Mamdani? Did you hear Commie Mamdani? Holy fuck. I sort of have I don't really have a New Year's resolution to myself to not drop F-bombs. I just, sometimes when I drop them, I wonder, was that wrong? Should I not have done that? Actually, that's a little bit of a blend between Urkel's "Did I do that?" and George Costanza gets called into his boss. George, we have a report that you've been sleeping with your cleaning lady. Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? But did you hear Commie Mamdani? The enemy is inside the gate. They have conquered Minneapolis. They have conquered the biggest city in America. They've taken over New York City. Did you hear what he said? The enemies of freedom, they make strange bedfellows, and they'll link arms with a temporary comrade. The Islamic supremacists can link arm with the socialists, with the communists, with the Marxists, with the Democrats, with the deep state, with the globalists. Yeah, there's your Captain Planet right there. Islamic supremacists, Democrats, deep state, globalists, Marxists. Together we are the worst ideas everywhere. Hey, crap. But we're winning, is what I'm told by another libertarian friend. Just sounds like you're angry and bitter. You're winning. Well, I mean, what are you so worried about? Because we're not arresting anyone. The people running every scam just keep getting away with it. And the more you speak out, the more it puts a target on you. See Charlie Kirk. See President Trump. See Matt Gaetz. See Thomas Massey. Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a lot of people. I know MTG and Massey, they're at odds end. They got some problems with President Trump. And President Trump's theoretically the best thing we've seen in this country as far as the MAGA agenda, specifically the America First agenda. But is it America First to threaten warfare in Iran after already bombing Iran without congressional approval? We don't have a king. There are certain war powers that are designated to the president, and that is battled out in court. Every day, every action, everything's battled out in court. But Iran appears to be on the verge of an overthrow. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is it something America needs to involve itself with? Huh? What's going on in Venezuela? Why is that happening? Is that related to 2020 election interference? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it ain't. There's a lot of stuff to discuss each day. That's why we call ourselves the TNAM Trash Pandas. We're rifling through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. We are the raccoons. Maybe we're not the raccoons we deserve, but we're the raccoons that we get. And so that's why we gather each day. What are we gathered for? I haven't even done an official intro, so let's do it and launch the show. And then we'll get to your chat. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere out there. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is the 2nd day of January, Friday, 2026. And this right here, the thing that you have found, is called the TNAM Daily Show, right here on the New American Media. We're talking about Commie Mamdani. We're talking about Iran, what's going on over there. Talking about Ukraine. What's weird in Ukraine? Did you see that? Did you hear what Zelensky's trying to? Would you be weirded out by that? We got a lot of perspectives. We have a lot of conversation. Hopefully some jokes and some laughter along the way. So buckle up. Today's episode of the TNAM Daily Show starts right now.
guide to the truth. thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you all so much for being here. Let's jump into the chat. Hello, Lake Leon. John Brenneman, John, who made these mugs. I've sent a mug out. Who has a mug? Kenneth has a mug. I have a mug. If any of you want a mug, shoot me a $40 Venmo. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, along with your address, and I will send one out to you. $10 of shipping and handling included for the continental United States, included with that. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Droopy Dog in the house. Trash Panda, Texas. Danette is back. Hello, Danette. Welcome. Marion Cook, hello, howdy. I'm here today. Missed all of y'all. Haven't seen a Marion Cook. Haven't had a Marion Cook sighting in a while. Hello, Marion. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. Guess what? Anytime we can reference a great Simpsons moment, I'm in. Good job with the Dr. Nick. Where's Nick? I haven't seen Nick in a while. We call him Dr. Nick. All right. Yes, Kenneth, you do have my merch on a perch. He's like, no, I don't want to drink out of it. I'm going to set it up on the, right over there on the shelf. Merch on a shelf. David checking in from Ontario. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to have you here. Somebody on Kick. I don't understand Kick and Twitch, but we got a peepo clap. I mean, if there's a clap, I think a clap is good. Yeah, I should probably figure out, do you guys use Twitch and Kick? Everything's like, oh, you got to join this just Discord server. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. Like, don't I just stream onto that site? I don't know. We stream on it. Don't really understand it. I just definitely don't trust YouTube, Google, Facebook, Instagram, Meta. I don't trust that they will be around as a legitimate business partner. So we've built the parallel pathways, which is why our Patreon is so important. Consider signing up for our Patreon, by the way. This is another month. And yes, we have continued support. The pledges coming in on Patreon here. Thank you so much to everybody. We have several supporters monthly. It matters because that's the way you bypass the big tech overlords that if you speak on things they don't like, they shut you up. Facebook silenced me. You can see that in my declassified, the unreleased J6 interviews documentary that's on our YouTube channel when we were at January 6th interviewing people. Yeah, we highlight in there that the Facebook removed my personal access to Facebook was removed. My company page was deleted. My groups were deleted. No cause, no explanation, no opportunity to remedy any alleged issue. I was just deleted, depersoned. And, you know, when you're trying to earn a living doing that, it really fucks you up. It really fucks you up. And so that's why we're trying different things outside of just YouTube. And most of us looking over here, most of you are on YouTube, which is temporarily fine. It's just I am begging everyone to jump on different platforms and support us different ways because I just can't trust YouTube to be a reliable business partner. But for now, let me give you an update. Thank you for all of your support. December was the best month of the 4. Now, we were monetized back about 5 years ago. They stole that from us. They did not like us, you know, looking at 2020 and going, what do you want us to believe? Oh, they silenced us. They threw our content down memory holes. They deleted videos that we uploaded. They flagged us for misinformation and disinformation. It was a non-stop harassment campaign. Non-stop campaign of harassment. And then this video here, it looks like meathead murdered, son arrested, plus disarmed Aussies attacked by Islamists. cannot be monetized due to one or more copyright claims. And so we have these here. I guess I can dismiss these claims. They forced us to delete a segment, and in the process, they stole our monetization. Everything that video earned from advertisement revenue, they kept that and gave it to Theo Von's podcast because we played a clip. I think he was talking with Tucker Carlson. So we were describing the conversation and playing it for context and adding original, unique, transformative commentary to it, which is allowable by law under fair use. YouTube doesn't give a shit sometimes, and they just take your money. You say, nope, I know you played the guitar all day. You're out there singing songs. I know people threw stuff into your guitar case, but we're just going to take that now because, we're just going to ignore the fair use provision of playing clips so that you can discuss, educate the audience. Number one, you can do it for educational purposes. But then number two, you provide a unique, original, transformative commentary on top of it, but you have to provide the context of what you're commenting on. So that's allowable. They know that. Doesn't matter. They still mess with you if they don't like what you have to say. So something about that video rubbed them the wrong way and they took it all. So once again, these are just the things behind the scenes that are going on. But let me tell you the good word here. Despite all the BS that we're dealing with, December was the best month on YouTube that we've had since our relaunch in September. September was strong, October, November, okay, and then boom, we had a very nice December. We rang in the new year fantastically. Thank you. Now it's still not exactly a full-time endeavor that's paying full-time bills by any stretch of the imagination, which is why I'm asking all of the good listeners here, tell a couple friends, invite a couple people in. We want to multiply what we're doing. If you're going to a church that you like and it ain't too packed, bring a couple friends in. Hey, bring a couple friends or family, invite some people, fill up these pews. We're all gathered here today. Let's talk. Let's have let's pack the place. We got to keep the lights on. So all of that is to say a sincere thank you to everybody who made December a very good month on YouTube. As long as we're allowed on YouTube, we're there. But, it would be really nice to have people on Rumble, on Patreon, those other places. But keep the Rumble rants and super chats coming. It is a huge part of what happens here. It's a huge part of how you can support this program. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. We're on Whoits, Grumble, Confused, and Careless. On Donner, on Dasher, on Donner, on Comet, on Blitzen. I know it's kind of giving those vibes. Yeah, Zohran Mamdani the Commie really got sworn in on a Quran. The ideology of Islamic supremacy takes a foothold in New York, as it has in Minneapolis. Do you see what's happening? Have you noticed what the leadership, wink, of Barack Hussein Obama has been able to accomplish in just 2 short decades here in America? Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that? Danette says, I just did that Captain Planet joke with my sister last night about combining homes to survive financially. They don't make it easy to survive on your own, do they? They don't like that. That would be a they don't want you to have it too good. See, that's why you elect a communist, right? Go get the evil rich people and then we'll redistribute it. No. You're the supremacist group that's trying to take everything for yourself. You're barely going to dole out scraps. When you do, it's going to suck. It's going to be low quality. There's going to be no oversight. It's not going to function like the private sector. Nobody will own anything. And you will destroy your opponents. That's what happens every time the commies, the Marxists, the Leninists, the Stalinists, the globalists, whenever they take charge, that's what they do. They fuck everyone over. Everyone. They are snake oil salesmen. They are demons. You do never trust them. You never trust them. You do not trust them. So yeah, combining homes to survive financially. Yeah, get yourself a homestead. Get yourself a flock. Well, there's a lot of that. David says, I think Venezuela is a bit of everything, but mainly cutting the elite's dirty money flow. And just to know that our own agencies, grab a handful of SpaghettiOs and just chuck them at the wall. The DEA, DHS, CIA, FBI. Really, just pick your deep state agency. How many are in on the take for the illicit drug trade, for human trafficking? All of them? Half of them? Most of them? Just the leadership? What are we talking about? America needs a 250th year enema. Don't really want to go down this analogy to, well, you can't spell analogy without spelling the word. I don't want to get too graphic here, but America needs an enema. Oh, there's a kernel of a really nice joke in there. No corn jokes either. Stop it. Only corny jokes. And you guys in your dad jokes are rubbing off on me. Can't spell analogy without. Yeah, America needs an enema at our 250th birthday. Absolutely. A deep cleaning. Just gut it all. Flush it out. I want to see it come down, suck it down, flush it down. Whew. But instead, New York has been overthrown. Minneapolis has been overthrown. Columbus has been overthrown. How many cities have been overthrown by the deep state Democrats? And if you look at the country, we're a red country with a couple of blue cities that override the wishes of the rest of the normal people in that state because they're running massive fraud everywhere. They figured out systems where they can deliver ballots. Maybe they're legitimate, maybe they're not. Who knows? Hey, let's put them into a machine and wait for it, and it's gone. Yeah, we're going to take that investment, really make that money work for you, and it's gone. Okay. We're just supposed to trust some machine with some proprietary software that we can't run an audit on that may or may not be linked to Venezuela. Hold on. So instead of actually looking at a paper ballot, because you show up to vote on voting day, get over it. That's what you do. If it's not that important to you, you don't vote. No, we don't have months and months and months and months of voting. That's insanity. And yes, you need voter ID to prove that you're eligible. But we're just outsourcing this entire system and just hoping that it's legit. No, it's not. And you have to wonder if we should invoke the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster so that we can get voter ID protections in place for November. Then when you win in November, you flush out as many deep state members as possible. And guess what? If they don't have their cheating systems in place, you want to see a blowout? Come on. It's all at stake. Our country is at stake. It's all at stake. Kenneth kicks it old school on Facebook only. Yeah, I mean, Facebook's good. It's fine until they delete you, until they silence you. That's why I can't can't trust them. A bleaching as well. Fine. America needs, well, I don't know, disinfectant. The president said to drink bleach. You don't hate the lying legacy media and the deep state Democrats enough. David says it's time to shut it all down. Well, they're calling for a national tax revolt. How much of this money is just being literally pissed away, stolen, fraudulently taken by force to give to people who hate you and want to transform your country and your way of life? Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Danette says you should try to get Ron Paul on to talk about what we did to Venezuela 6 to 7 years ago. We bankrupted them financially with real estate and sold their debt. I'd love to have Ron Paul on. Filmed him at the Libertarian Convention last July. Oh, yeah. The American people have been defrauded for trillions, in my opinion, of course. 38 trillion in debt. Yeah, sure we are. Sure we are. Pound sand. We need to collect our debt. Our debt? Excuse me, I didn't sign off on that shit. Y'all have been money laundering. Go get it from your fake daycares. Go get it from your fake transportation companies. Go get it from your fake medical treatment in-home facilities. Your multiple kids, your multiple grandparents, your chain migration. It's all a fraud. Selling out America to foreigners. It's not just Somalians, by the way. This is happening all over the place. All over the place. But yes, good point. All right, let's bounce over to our Instagram feed and start running through the stories of the day, shall we? In case you missed it, FAFO, here's a liberal German streamer. What's Kunshikitty? Who allegedly sets out to prove that she can safely walk through the streets of Cologne through migrant neighborhoods while live streaming. She was wrong.
Ow! Ow!
Someone swings and hits her in the face.
Au! Ah, ich habe immer was abbekommen. Ich habe immer was gegen den Kopf bekommen. Au! Ich glaube, wenn ich so 2 Meter Türsteher schreibe, hätten die das nicht gemacht. Ah, schon wieder, Alter!
And hit again.
Wichser! Mit Handschuhe auf. Besser ist das. Au!
She found out, proving once again that no matter how many times liberals bury their heads in the ground like the ostrich to avoid reality, their butts are still sticking up and they're inevitably going to get bit. Tom says liberalism is a mental disorder. She's lucky that's all that happened to her. That's scary, these comments. Doug says, that's awesome. She'll go back for more, though. She believes we deserve this. I don't know about that. That's a preview of the stoning that their Sharia law delivers. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I'd like to see this streamer go back every night. See how it goes. This is Eco Church. Oh, I think there's music. I don't think I can play it. Let's see.
No peace coming. What's coming is war.
I'll have to read it in my voice instead of his. Andrew Cedra. Is that this guy? Okay, I'm following. Pronouns never. He says, there is no peace coming. What's coming is war, a culture war. And what people fail to realize is that this culture war, it's not a culture war. It's actually a spiritual war, not a race war. It's a Bible war, not a social war, theological war. It's not a culture war. It's a spiritual war. Man, he's wearing some fancy shoes there, isn't he? That's some fancy, what do they call them? Flood pants? Flood jeans? Flood pants? It's a bold choice. And you need godly discernment to understand the signs of the times. God is raising spiritual leaders, prophets who will fight, and be strong and courageous and say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So many people think we live in Jerusalem, the city of peace, but we are no longer in Jerusalem. We are actually in Babylon, the city of war. And this is not the time for politicians. It's a time for prophets. We need more prophets and less politicians. We need people that represent the will of God and the word of God, not the voting of man. We need more prophets. Would have been better in his voice, but it had too much music, so I couldn't play it. Yeah, here's your holy war. Historic Vondelkerk Church in Amsterdam just burned to the ground on New Year's Eve. Huh. I wonder if the Party of Peace, the Islamic supremacists, were behind this one. Probably just an accident that the church burns down, huh? Yeah, purely accidental burns down. Really not a battle of good and evil. Yeah, probably nothing to do. Yak was asking. I don't know. Let's just say it was probably an accident, huh? Yeah. I think fireworks were blamed in an accidental way, as if throwing flames into a building to burn it down can be deemed accidental, as long as certain people are behind it. Perhaps the Islamic supremacists. I don't know. But hey, speaking of Islamic supremacy, let's check in on New York City. What are the Islamic supremacists up to? Like Zohran Mamdani, the commie.
Zohran Mamdani just swore in on the Quran. Yay, he's so progressive. Super progressive. Let's learn what the Quran says. Per the Quran, men may have up to 4 wives whom they have complete authority over, but women may only have 1 husband. Women are not allowed to refuse intimacy with their husbands. And oh, by the way, the Quran actually instructs the husbands to beat their wives for disobedience. Furthermore, the Quran permits men to marry pre-pubescent girls and then consummate the marriage once the man decides that the girl is physically able to tolerate it.
Ew.
The Quran also establishes a legal inequality between men and women. Women are not treated as equals. They are treated as lesser than. There's more, but we're going to move along to Islamic law, which stems from the Quran.
That's Islamic supremacist. You know, I've grown weary of the constant slurs of supremacist, usually preceded with a word that signifies a pigment. It's time to call out the true supremacist movement that's sweeping the globe in a vicious, violent manner. That's Islamic supremacy.
Which allows for the death penalty for gays and the abuse of women at the discretion of their husbands. Ultra progressive. That's your guy right there. That's what you voted for.
Here's the super big problem. Democrats, leftists, communists, Marxists. See, you'll link arms with anybody who pretends to be your friend for a minute. They're not your friend. They don't like you. They don't like your way. You're a useful idiot who's going to help them take over and conquer, destroy. Anybody home? Yeah, New York pity. Zohran Mamdani, the commie, has turned New York City into New York pity.
Oh, wait, there's more. The Quran also explicitly calls for violence against non-believers.
Oh.
Here are a few references you can pause and read.
A few references. 2:191, 2:193, 8:39, 9:29, Quran. Yeah, see, they're supremacists. You will be me, or I will end you. That is a threat. That is a deadly threat. That is a conquering invader. That is an enemy. That is not something you tolerate. That is not something you welcome. That is not something that will assimilate. That is something that you do not want to partner with. You do not want to encourage, to fund, to amplify, to partner with, while they pretend with their tequila. They pretend, okay, yeah, we're buddies. Until I get you. I'm sorry, what was that you said? I said, oh, you look wonderful today. But the Democrats have gone along with this for some reason.
Fitna is worse than killing. What is fitna, you ask?
How about fitna? Yeah, I'm not going to make that joke.
Well, fitna is unbelief or the resistance to Islamic dominance and authority.
Resistance to Islamic dominance and authority. These are Islamic supremacists. That phrase needs to be used every time now.
It is better to kill people than to allow fitna, again, unbelief or resistance to Islamic dominance and authority. And liberals, progressives, that's your guy. That's your guy. Do you have any understanding of what it is you are cheering for? Clearly not. Zohran Mamdani
swears in on a Quran. 24 years after Islamic supremacists knocked down the World Trade Center. New York pity, indeed. Lake Leon in the comments says, stolen $38 trillion from our taxes since 1916. It was 1913. Woodrow Wilson. The Anti-Defamation League was created around that time because they didn't want people criticizing bankers of a particular place. Very interesting that that's the year they implement confiscation of wealth with an income tax. Oh, that's the year that the Federal Reserve private banking cartel was created. Wow, it's almost like it was a complete overthrow and we lost our sovereignty and our money lost its value. And now we work and can't afford anything. And we, $500 for a bag of groceries, 3 bags of groceries at the store. Okay, that's normal. Oh, you need a new vehicle? Cool. Got $100,000. $100,000? What? Don't worry. They say it's cheaper to own a home than it is to rent. Fine. Where's it? Let me see a good starter home. Here's one. $425,000. $425 for a fucking starter home? We have been robbed fucking blind by the banksters. 100 years of this shit. More than 100 years of this, yeah. David says, why does no one other than us ask to who do you owe the money to? Yeah. Well, I guess it turns into, I've asked this question and it's very convoluted, but it's like they sell T-bills, they sell treasury bonds or something, like the municipalities purchase the debt from the federal government. So they've found a clever way of making us the owners of the debt instead of the banks that have over-lent the money. Just like a moron that's going to give you $250,000 to go to a 4-year college to get indoctrinated to Marxist crap, come out with a useless gender studies degree that makes you an angry, bitter biddy. You just come out going, I see problems everywhere. I just want to be no one wants to be around me now. Give me money. And you're like, no. Instead of like cranking out people that are productive and awesome. If that person can't pay their $250,000 back, the Democrats go, hey, we should have debt forgiveness for school. There you go. Fuck no, you're laundering our money. $250,000 for these nincompoops to cause years of brain damage and then unleash these idiots back into our country. Oh, and then guess what? We aren't procreating. We can't afford to. Oh, we've been taught that, no, it's virtuous to kill your babies. That's virtue. That's virtuous, they tell you in your colleges. That's the ideal. No, that's like patriarchy or something. No, we don't need families. And then when the bean counters go, oh, crap, we told them to off all their kids at Planned Parenthood. I mean, which is good, sort of, but kind of bad because now our Ponzi scheme's starting to fall apart. There's not enough people paying into the system, and it's all going to collapse if they don't pay more taxes. And there's no American kids, and we forced a medical treatment that may cause problems. We need to import 40 million people quick. And guess what? Let's make sure it's people that hate freedom that we can sell commie crap. Yeah, they'll buy it. Just vote our way. Vote Democrat. Vote globalist. Vote deep state. Vote Marxist. Vote Leninist. And we'll steal from the successful people and we'll destroy them. It's an overthrow. It's the Obama doctrine. It's what he's been up to. What him and his ilk have been up to for 4 or 5 decades now. Now you have this. Congrats. Now you have people say, do you think paying taxes should be paused until the government can prove to the American people that there is no fraud? What do you think? Question of the day, agree or disagree? I think paying taxes should be paused until the government can prove to the American people that there is no more fraud. Type it in the comments. Question of the day, agree or disagree? It's a dangerous strategy. You got 1 year of President Trump to try to fix as many things as possible. You want to collapse the government this year, this 1 year that we are pulling back the scabs on all the gangrenous theft, waste, fraud, and abuse. I don't know that this is the year for that. I get it. And it feels good because I hate the thieves that have put this system in place. But there needs to be a unified plan from the America First people, from the MAGA people. There needs to be a unified plan. Well, what is this? That we're going to replace income tax with the tariffs? Okay, sign us up. Where are we at? What's the update? Where do we stand? How do you starve $38 trillion in fraudulent theft, spending, Somali piracy? Oh, I got questions. And it feels really good to say that stuff because I've been calling for it for a decade and a half. But when the America First movement finally has funding, when they finally have the levers of power, I don't know if this is the year that you want to stop moving in that direction to fix some of these systemic problems that have been put in place by the deep state, the same deep state that tried to blow that dude's fucking head off. They will gladly do the same to you and the same to Nick Shirley if you stop them from stealing. Oh, they get angry when you call them out. It bothers their demons when you shine light on them. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Disinfectant? Did President Trump tell you to drink bleach? He's the dumbest orange man bad. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. So here's Nick Shirley. And for my next trick, and for my first trick, I'll get Democrats to publicly defend fraud. I'll say go full max button. Yeah, the Democrats are the party of fraud. Domestic terrorists. Spirit of Defiance here put this one out. Here's my fear, though. The feds move to arrest Tim Walz for all this fraud stuff, but he gets tipped off and disappears into the woods, and they are unable to capture him due to his manly outdoor skills. Wow, some good sarcasm really lightens the mood, does it not? Remember they tried to make Tim Walz like your manly alternative because they realized no men are supporting the Democrats because it's their synapses are not they're not firing properly. Their leaps of logic make no sense. And men with any sort of self-preservation instinct are physically repulsed by the Democrat Party, what they've become. No, they would reject Bill Clinton in a heartbeat, by the way. Like, this is not your dad's or your grandparents' Democrat Party. This is something beyond sinister. Oh, it's just wild. Kenneth says, I'm no longer fitna in these pants. Yeah, no shit. It has been a rough 2 months. Cheers, everybody. Plain black coffee, no creamer, no sweetener, no calories. But let me just tell you, I don't know how you're looking out there, how you're feeling fitness-wise. If you take 2 months and don't consume empty alcohol calories, and you limit what you have to just some clean protein, never take medical advice from me and never do anything without consulting a doctor. Okay, fine. You can have some success. You can definitely have some success at radically transforming your body. And just a month or two of going off the rails and eating every sweet treat and going back for seconds, having a couple beverages, maybe a couple more. Whew. Man, I have seen it. I have seen a swing. So yeah, keep in mind that your vessel is super important. You need to be sharp in mind, body, and spirit. Make sure you're handling that body part of spirit. Make sure you're handling that body part of mind, body, spirit. Spirit, I mean, you just got to hold that close, and you got to believe in something, or you're going to fall for anything. Your mind, I mean, keep it sharp, do your thing, but the body, I mean, this is your vehicle. Oh, did you hear that pop? We all got ailments, we all have things. We all just do the best we can, people. Nobody's coming to save us, so we might as well not make it any easier to get taken off this chessboard. Marion says that would be awesome to pause taxes until they prove no fraud. No doubt. She agrees 1,000%. Kenneth agrees. Lake Leon, do away with taxes, period. It could be done if they wouldn't have stolen it, but yes, agree. What's this? Oh, pinkies up. Cheers to Pat. Oh, what is this one? Wow. Devil's Spawn. White Horse, the Apocalypse, Little Horn of the Beast, Trump, he reaped what he sowed. Wow. That right there, that Pat Johnson, that is a demonic post right there. Cheering the Charlie Kirk situation. Got what he deserved, to say that he deserved to be snuffed out on TV. Can you believe that take? I think there's a lot of takes that we could have. Let's see, I have managing moderators on the YouTube here. Managing moderators. These users have the same capabilities as standard moderators, but in addition, they can manage blocked words and change chat modes in live. Huh. See, and that's weird because now I'm here in the chat room and I don't see that comment. Do you see that comment with the pinkies up? I'm in chat. I'm in the New American Media chat, but I don't see that person who made that chat. Can anyone see that person? That's interesting. So where are they watching from? Okay, you can't see it. So this must be one of the previously blocked people that's changing their profile names. YouTube hides a lot on our side, but we see it in yours. Okay. Lake Leon says, I found out this morning that Nick Shirley was a part of the group that went to the White House a few months ago that reported all the fraud with the rest of the citizen journalists. Okay. Well, anyway, let's not tip off Tim Waltz. Remember when they tried to make him rugged and manly instead of prancing around and being a goofball out on stage? I mean, the worst kind of traitor. Just a fancy pants, treasonous actor, doesn't care, getting rich, getting profile, doing as he's told, selling this country out to foreign interests. Tim Waltz, the worst of the worst. But yeah, don't tip him off, because then we might be unable to capture him due to his manly outdoor skills. I love that post. Department of Homeland Security put this out. Have you watched Lord of the Rings lately? ICE.gov says, over top of that, there won't be a Shire, Pippin. There won't be a Shire. Yeah, your city is going to be destroyed if you let it. There will be no Shire. Remove the illegal alien invaders. ICE.gov. Yet I am battling with a so-called libertarian that's so libertarian and so pious and so high and mighty that he believes that borders should not exist. We shouldn't have sovereignty over our nation. Everybody with every criminal background and every bad intention, they should just come on in. We shouldn't have ICE every day. It's just a complaint about ICE. It's a gripe about ICE. It's never anything positive. Never anything positive. And the goal is to create more nonprofits who oppose ICE and allow the overthrow of this nation. And that person calls himself a libertarian. Oh, and it pisses me off. Dereliction of duty, treason. No, that's not virtuous. That's ridiculousness. So I might book that person onto the show. But if you don't have immigrations and customs enforcement, there will be no Shire, Pippin. There will be no America. There will be no nation. There will be no USA. In our 250th year, we'll be toast. They've had a year. If you're here under false pretexts, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you're one of the 40 million plus that snuck into this country, you go on the CBP home app. It used to be CBP1 to steal as many benefits as possible. Democrats confiscate your tax dollars, fund the overthrow of your nation, and then make them rich in the process. Are you out of your mind? You've had a year. You were told to go home. They will even pay for your flight home. And if your paperwork's in order and your hand is raised and you've been a good person, you don't have a bad criminal record, you might be able to come back in here. But no, you don't get to stay because the Democrats broke the law. We didn't ask for 40 million illegal alien invaders with different customs, different policies, and a different attitude and a different mentality and a different core set of beliefs. We don't want that. That was never something that the citizens voted for. So get out. And if not, you will be removed. And to be a so-called pro-America or pro-liberty, libertarian type figure that doesn't believe in the protection of our sovereignty, I am sort of out of words, because there will be no Shire, Pippin. There will be no Shire. All right. The Misfit Patriot tells us. Yeah, Marion says, yeah, that person you're talking to should remove the doors on their home and let all the illegals live in their home. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your significant other and your children. Uh-huh. Hang out. Yeah, I got some got to make a road trip. I'm gonna be gone for a couple days. I'll come back. Just help yourself to whatever's in the fridge. The combo in the safe is 1, 2, 3, 4. Take care of my babies and my ladies. By the way, speaking of taking care of your babies and your ladies, we have Rumble Rants and Super Chats if you want to take care of your dude right here. Ta-da! The Misfit Patriot says, this is a quote from the book Mamdani placed his hand on to take the oath of office in the largest city in America. Quran 551, according to Misfit Patriot, says, "O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and the Christians as allies. They are allies of one another. And whoever is an ally to them among you, then indeed he is of them. Indeed, Allah guides not the wrongdoing people." Alexander Duncan says, no elected official in the United States should be allowed to be sworn in with the Quran. It's despicable. First New York City mayor sworn in on the Quran when he takes his office, his oath. Hashtag never remember. Remember what happened in 2001? Nah. It was probably the Jews. It was probably Bush. It was probably the deep state. It had nothing to do with the Islamic supremacists. And by the way, multiple things can be true at once. But to completely obfuscate, no. What word am I looking for? To completely, not venerate. I got a lot of, I feel like I'm in excess video. Obfuscate, venerate. Are you hungry? No, I ate. What comes after 6, 7, 8? Do you remember that NXS video where it's black and white? No, it's not obfuscate, not venerate. Ameliorate. Ameliorate. I just wanna be close to you. Is that the song? No, that's not it. What was that In Excess song with the note cards? Let's see if Grok can figure it out real quick. It's not, I think that's PM Dawn. God, I'm going deep into the 1988. Okay, this is 1987 Kick. Need you tonight. Meditate. Peace. It's the meditate video. Holding and flipping the note cards. Do you remember this? It's weird that I can't scroll past those. Okay, well, I was close. It was mediate, ameliorate. 6, 7, 8. Flipping no cards. All right. What are the lyrics? Here, let me pull up the lyrics. I can't think of the hook of the song. Hallucinate, desegregate, mediate, alleviate. Oh, alleviate? No. Try not to hate. Love your mate. Don't suffocate on your own hate. Designate your love is fate. One world state as human freight. The number 8. A white black state. A gentle trait. A broken crate. A heavyweight. Or just too late. Like pretty Kate has sex ornate. How now devastate. Appreciate. Depreciate. Fabricate. Emulate. The truth dilate. Special date. The animals we ate. Guilt debate. The edge serrate. A better rate. The youth irate. Deliberate, fascinate, deviate, reinstate, liberate, to moderate, recreate, or detonate. Annihilate, atomic fate, mediate, clear the state, activate, now radiate, love your mate, liberate, 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 liberate. Fornic, 8. That's pretty close. 911, what's your emergency? Could you check on Brian? What was because I was having a stroke on things that remind me of 8 or sound like 8? It totally works. I would play you the video, but I guess you had to be there in 1987. Can't say that you've ever heard that song and lyrics. Really? Oh, doggone it. Am I going to try to play a moment of it? I mean, it's probably a bad idea, but I'm all about bad ideas on this channel. Here, I got to make it small on the screen because it'll pick up the image. We'll put it underneath there. Let's skip ahead a little bit. I want you to see the image. Can I go side by side? Just a brief little. And that's how it goes. I can't play anymore, but it's just flipping cards. Trust me, it totally works. Like, we should produce a segment about that. Okay, Lake Leon remembers that song. But I couldn't remember the hook, I guess because there is no hook. I guess there is no hook there. Anyway, 911, what's your emergency? I don't know. Brian keeps rhyming with 8. All right, let's go back to our Instagram feed. I don't know what word am I looking for. Absolve. Like, you don't just wash away the Islamic influence, the Islamic supremacist movement. I mean, yes, we know that was blamed on Osama bin Laden. We know Al-Qaeda, and they hate us because of freedom. You know. All right, let's keep it rolling. You get what I'm laying down, or maybe you don't. I don't know. Mandy Arthur says they protect the guilty because they are the guilty. You got it. Connor Tomlinson. Who put this out? Government. Jason McCrary. I don't know who that is. I'll follow him. I toss follows around. 4 others. Gen Z Congress, Revival. I don't know what these are. Revolutionary Fitness and Gen Z Congress. All right. We'll add some follows. Got to support the people that share some content. Connor Tomlinson says, if you don't want people to advocate. I can't start doing that. I can't just fall into a loop every time something rhymes with 8. If you don't want people to advocate for the expulsion of every non-native person from the country, then the absolute worst thing to say is, I think white people are going to go extinct anyway. If you set up a dichotomy where people either have to accept demographic extinction demographic extinction or deport every last immigrant and their offspring, then out of desperation, people will say, send them all packing. People don't want managed decline to live in the Michaela school. I don't know what that is. Or for their identity to be redefined to be inclusive. They want security for their people, their culture, their country, and their children. These are reasonable requests. If you cannot offer that, then they will side with the person who will, no matter how harsh or unreasonable they are prepared to be. About a month ago, politicians in D.C. were telling Americans we would have to move the retirement age up to 70 because Social Security was going bankrupt. Think about that. That is why everyone involved in taxpayer fraud needs to be punished. No exceptions and no mercy. The Censored Rock says we call Tim Waltz and Somalians retarded, but they stole $18 billion of our money without consequence. I'm pretty sure we're the retards. Ian Smith says, what is this, Eric Trump? Oh, Eric Trump says people better start going to jail in Minnesota. Ian Smith Fitness is like, what the hell are you talking about? You are in charge. I cleaned that one up a little. Okay, yeah, they snuffed out Charlie Kirk, so now you get to hear more from Nicholas J. Fuentes. He says it's literally all performative until the Trump-Vance administration starts massively deporting Somalians. All the tweeting, complaining, ranting, and investigating doesn't mean shit if Minneapolis still has a Somalian enclave in 2028, which it almost certainly will. Maverick Alexander says, I've noticed a lot of you aren't acting very chill about being lied to and stolen from your whole lives. What's your problem? Corey Mahler, if you looked at the living standard of the baby boomers and the living standard of millennials and zoomers in a vacuum, you would assume the United States had lost a major war. Theo Vaughn said, what are we paying taxes for? C3 says, what percentage of the population pays what percentage of the federal income taxes? Well, non-defined, or 3% of the population paying up to 6% of taxes. Asian, 6% of the population paying up to 10% of the taxes. Black, 13% of the population paying, well, that's weird. All these others are double. This is like half. 13% of the population paying only 8% of the taxes. Same with Hispanic. That should double up to 38, or 40% or so, but it's only 19% of the country paying only 12% of the taxes. But then the white percentage of the population is 59%, paying 75% of the taxes. Is that the white privilege the left loves to talk about so much? Because it sort of feels like we're getting ripped off. Does it not? Dan Hill says, why would a country that's 38 trillion in debt give away 100 billion a year to other countries? Could it be that foreign aid money is the easiest money for corrupt officials to steal? No fucking shit. Oedipa Mas says you simply can't maintain a system that constantly makes honest, decent people feel like they must be idiots for not defrauding their neighbors. Well said. Roland Gunn says, increasingly feel like I'm the only sucker in this country who's not scamming the government in some way. This is a dangerous spot we find ourselves in. What the Democrats and the rhinos have done to us. Dale Partridge reminds us that nobody wants to live in a neighborhood with people who don't speak their language, who don't share their history or culture, who don't have similar values, who don't practice the same religion. Nobody. Multiculturalism is an abhorrent idea. Now, do you agree or disagree with that? That reaches a very stark contrast to what you've been bludgeoned over the head with your entire life. If you don't parrot and repeat, diversity is our strength. We should all have our own different playbooks on this team. Yes, we all play for the Cleveland Browns, but we should all have a diverse playbook of our own ideas and theories instead of us all being on the same page, speaking the same language, working toward a common goal. We should be pulling in different directions because that will make us strong. Does that make us strong? Strong in what way? Yeah, it's time for uncomfortable conversations. Here's a good reminder. Do main character shit. Do main character shit. What would the main character do at this point in the movie? Use it wisely. All right. Nice boys in the country have a little something to share with us. This is 15 things they want you to know about in the new year. This one was pretty good. I liked this one. I think it's a good time to hear some of these lessons. These people have been, if you think it's bad in America, the poor people of Europe have been absolutely overrun. So here's 15 things they want to ring the new year in with. What do you say?
Here's 15 things we should all leave behind in 2025.
The gremlin that is Greta Thunberg.
Pronouns.
Hating billionaires.
We all know it's just jealousy.
Gingers converting to Islam.
Fat is beautiful.
Thanks, Ozempic.
Supporting terrorism.
Free Palestine.
Multiculturalism and diversity being our greatest strength.
Pretending shame is a bad thing.
We could do with more shame.
Blaming literally everything on the Jews.
Zara bloody Sultana.
Ghastly woman.
Digital ID. Nice try, Keir Starmer. What a wanker.
The small boat doctors and engineers. Lol.
White guilt. Because white lives matter.
The phrase religion of peace.
Most of all, though, let's leave behind not speaking up because some unstable lefty might call you hurty words. Saving the UK is much more important. Happy New Year! Here's
No more hurty words. Hurty words. Yeah. It's bad. The digital gulag they want to throw us into. Look at Europe for what they want to do. They want to bring it back to what Biden was doing to us during COVID. Never again. We got 11 months, people. I get it. We have our frustrations. I get it. Many of them are valid. I get it. Seems like nothing's happening. I get it. Show me a better way and I'll follow it. But for now, we have to link our arms and stop this globalist takeover that's been happening. This is not just America. It's not just New Zealand. It's not just Australia. It's not just Canada. It's not just across Europe. It's everywhere. It's a global caliphate. The left has partnered with a radical, violent ideology that says you will do and submit to me or I will slit your throat. I will end you. Do you understand how dire the situation is? I think you need to pay attention to how dire the situation is. Elon Musk reminds us this is exactly what they've been doing, replying to Western Lensman, who says, well, it's right out in the open what Chuck Schumer wants. Listen, this is exactly what the Democrat deep state has been doing. Elon says they're paying for voters to come illegally into America and enabling them the opportunity to vote. Son of Liberty says, yeah, here's me sitting quietly watching another episode of Diversity is Our Strength while the whole city burns. Listen to Chuck Schumer, this traitor.
Only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Why in the world would that be an improvement to anything?
The only way we're going to have a great future in America.
Why is that the only way that we would have a great future in America? You've never made that case, and we never voted for that.
Is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and...
No. You bring people onto your football team if they can do something for you. Can you catch the ball? Can you block for our quarterback? Can you throw the ball? Can you kick the ball really well? If you're a use to our team, we'd like to have you on our team. If you're going to be actively sabotaging our team, get the fuck out of our locker room. I'm calling security. It's that easy. But Chuck Schumer, man, he's on the other team.
All of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship.
Their ultimate goal is to get them voting. How many of them are at this moment voting?
For all 11 million.
11 million. And they love calling them dreamers because that sounds so nice. 11 million of them.
Or however many.
But you know what? 11, however many there are, because there's way more. If they tell you 20, those are the ones they found out about. By nature, you're not finding out about this. Double it to 40. It's at least 40. It's at least 40. Okay, so here, let's test the theory. Let me go back 2 pages. Okay, I think this is the page I wanted to be on. Okay, so we did see that comment, but not the earlier one. Pinkies up, everybody. Cheers to you. That's Chuck Schumer's plan to overthrow America.
Documented. There are here.
We have to unite to stop these people, even though, wait, the second one is what I want to share with you. I don't know what the censored word is. I don't know. It's Nick Fuentes complaining that the complaining about Somalians will result in nothing, no mass arrests, no mass deportations, nothing transformative. We all know that. This is more slop designed to rally the GOP base back to this failing joke of a government and pivot from something on Israel to Muslims. I don't know what that last phrase is. And yeah, Quality Leering Center, that is great. But where's the teeth? Where's the enforcement mechanism? Mark J. Vinton here. This is the one I shared. No, and to all of you watching in Rio Linda, California, I told you from day one when Charlie Kirk was taken off the board, off the chessboard, you're going to get more Milo Yiannopoulos, you're going to get more Nick Fuentes, you're going to get more of the fringe voices that are going to fill that power vacuum. And no, discussing one thing that a person says does not mean that you endorse all the things they say. Nick Fuentes has said, I don't know, 50 things that I've heard, and I've said, oh, for fuck's sake. No, I would not smile proudly next to whatever the fuck that thing was that you said. Nope. But that doesn't make them wrong on the other 98% of the things that they say. And there is definitely a power vacuum on the political right. I never really watched Charlie Kirk's show. I never attended a Turning Point event. Interviewed him once, briefly. As I said, the whole story of Charlie Kirk is best summarized by him having literally 0 seconds to spare, catching him from the bathroom, walking into a sold-out room up on stage. He had 0 seconds to spare, so he gave me 20 seconds and a soundbite and went on to his event. He literally talked to anyone, anywhere, and that's the energy that we need. And you can disagree with some of the stances and positions that Charlie Kirk had. Doesn't mean you get to off him because of it. Yeah. We're going to have a lot of voices that we're allowed to pick apart each individual topic without saying, I completely support everything this person's ever said and ever done. That's not a thing. Not a thing. A retweet does not equate to an endorsement. We know this. Mark J. Vinton says, all right, here's the cycle. I wake up. Democrats do something blatantly illegal. GOP politicians are outraged. Yeah, nothing happens. So then I wake up. Democrats do something blatantly illegal. GOP acts outraged. Then nothing happens. Rinse and repeat. I get it. I get it. Step one, we got 11 months to remove every Democrat from every position of power. They have to be voted out. That has to be the number one goal. If we're not buying fully into MAGA or the America First agenda or the Republicans or the right or Trump, whatever, I get it. I'm fine. I got you. Step one, though, these Democrats are so treacherous and destructive. They have to be absolutely politically annihilated in 11 months. Here's this, was this a Spider-Man where you can't see clearly? Quality Leering Center. Hold on, let me put my glasses on. Oh, it's the Quality Laundering Center. And it's happening everywhere, USA. Actually, that'll be my comment. And it's happening everywhere, USA button. It's not just Minneapolis, people. It's, oh, goodness. Yeah. It's what the Democrats do. Ugh. Ugh. David Harris Jr. says, wow, Somali fraud exposed in Columbus, Ohio, showing a filthy, rundown building passed off as daycare, allegedly. David Harris, well, here.
Hey, I'm showing you 161 childcare in Columbus, Ohio. And as you can see, it does not look like a childcare center at all. It is locked. It says it's open. There's a little desk right there, but the ceiling's all falling out and stuff like that. And if you come around back, you can see that this place is just a total dump.
This is what America's turning into, city block by city block, dump by dump by dump.
Literal just debris everywhere. This is a question. How do you enroll? How do you enroll your children here? You can't do that? No kids? So how can I enroll my children? It says you get public money through. You get public money through Ohio. You get money through the state of Ohio. This is a money that gets. Today I'm showing you 161 childcare in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. Turn over every wretched rock button. Yeah, here's your lying legacy media. Aren't they the greatest? We talk about The Simpsons. Here's a nice little Simpsons meme. When you have a privately funded ballroom, oh my gosh, I need to pull out my magnoscope. Magnoscope? What? Telescope? Telescope is the word I was looking for. But when there's taxpayer-funded billion-dollar fraud operations, I'm blind. I'm blind. I can't see anything. I cannot see anything. I see nothing. Yeah. Nailed it with this meme. Red Daywalker. This is awful. Footage of a fire that started in Switzerland that took the lives of at least 45 people. Partiers, I believe this was New Year's Eve. Partiers were given bottles with fireworks on top. The ceiling caught fire and an inferno followed. Fanning the flames. That's awful. I mean, good Lord. Have some survival instincts, people. Tim Ballard here is sharing this. This is allegedly Iranian women burning their hijabs after a girl was caged by the morality police. I'm not sure when this was from. Earlier, I believe this is not super recent. But yeah, wearing a Halloween costume to cover up your face, that is just an act of degradation. There's no feminist on earth that should be supporting any of that, period. Mutilating the genitals of women so they don't enjoy sexual intercourse. Yeah, that's demonic. You guys are, no, we're not doing that. We're not allowing this. We're not tolerating that. That doesn't make our country strong if we accept that into our country. That makes us stupid. We don't do that. So Iran is not our war to fight, but also, humanity needs a chance. We don't want to be Team America World Police, but we don't want to see literal slavery. That's what that is. Forced bondage of these women, having to walk around in burlap sack ghost costumes in 135-degree heat. Who is this? MAGA support says Pam Bondi was sworn in as Attorney General 315 days ago, and there has still yet to be one single major arrest. Swap Bondi with Matt Gaetz button. I am not impressed with Bondi. I don't know anyone that is. I'm tired of the excuses. Can't make them. What's this? Man Cow. I'll follow Man Cow. I've heard of him. He's what, a radio guy? Here's how you can recognize the warning signs of a far-right extremist. Make sure you jot these down. Number 1, full-time employment. Oh, shit. Number 2, literacy. It could be a far-right extremist. 3, loves his family and country. Uh-oh. Ooh. Danger, danger. Remember, that's what Obama, through the earpiece into Biden's ear, was making Biden go out and say this type of crap. You might be a far-right extremist if you have common sense or if you obey the law. Just a little something to keep in mind. How did I end up at the beginning of this now? Is that the end of my Instagram stories? Looks like it might be. Do the quick refresh. I think that's it. Yep, there we are, back at the beginning. Let's bounce over and share this tab instead. This is our Instagram feed. Yep, excuse me, leaving our Instagram feed and switching over to X. We're on X at American_media_. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show on X. Tell your friends to follow. If you have stories you want us to cover, you can send it to us on X. And at the top of the screen right here, that's our Patreon link. Everybody, please sign up to our Patreon. At least sign up for our free Patreon. And if you're feeling particularly supportive, we do have our $10 a month Patreon, or $100 a month, or $1,000 a month. Some of you have more money than time. And I've been dedicating all the time imaginable to sift through and find the most important, interesting perspectives on the most important, interesting stories of the day. And hopefully I provide a value to you. And that's one way that you can support the program. Okay, what is this report? San Francisco doing San Francisco things. Take a listen to this garbage. Let me full screen that for you.
$5 million payments to eligible black residents. However, paying for it may take some creative accounting. As the New York Post reports, the city's admitting it can't sign the checks as it's facing a $1 billion deficit.
Some more news on the money front. Home buyers can usher in 2026 with a
$5 million
Yeah, we need these interest rates to be 1% and call it a day. Stop stealing from us. This is so stupid that we waste so much money on mortgage interest. Benny Johnson says San Francisco is quietly rolling out a $5 million per person reparation plan for black residents while they're in a $1 billion deficit that they can't pay their bills. Now, the reader's context note says it hasn't rolled out, but the plan has rolled out. There might not be a commitment to $5 million a person. San Francisco board approved creation of a fund to allow private donations. Yeah, no money's allocated to the fund by the city. But Elon calling it out here. California didn't even have slaves. Why is it right for someone who escaped tyranny in other countries and happens to live in San Francisco to pay for reparations for something they had nothing to do with? This is deeply morally wrong. It's such a mess. There's a reminder to watch Strictly Football. Playoffs begin this week. I'm looking forward to it. All right, what's going on here? Eric Daughtry says, holy crap, this is a alleged Republican in Halloween costume. North Carolina Senate candidate LaKeisha Alston She is telling voters, I'm a Republican. I have matured. The GOP looks like me. Are you kidding me?
I am a Republican. I know that I have been seeing a lot of people with hesitation about the party that I choose to represent, just because, you know, growing up, you pretty much do what your family does, what, you know, their beliefs are as far as your party. But like I said, I am matured in my own revelation of what the Republican Party represents, and it looks like me. And just the ideology, the ideology of the Democratic Party. I just have gotten away from some of those narratives, and I feel that the Republicans have a better viewpoint in which the direction that the United States and North Carolina, especially Durham, should be in. I am a Republican. I know that I have been seeing a lot of people with
How in the world? That's not a Republican. Stop it. Yeah. All right. There's Elon and Chuck Schumer. I played you that clip. We said that Democrats know that Americans loathe them and their policies. So they want to overthrow the USA with foreigners with our own money. Indict these traitors to save America. And we're asking Pam Bondi and Kash Patel to freaking do something. Wake up and do something productive, would you? Just sitting out here waiting. I know. I'm as frustrated as anybody else. Kevin Bass says, I crunched the data and I even made a map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. States with... Oh, okay, good. I can full screen it here. States with no effective voter ID requirement average nearly 8 times more welfare benefits to illegal immigrants compared to states requiring voter ID verification. Huh. All of your usual suspects. New York, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Minnesota, California, Washington, Oregon, and others. Colorado. They are importing and paying illegals for votes. Elon says, yes, it is the biggest crime in American history. We said the Democrats are overthrowing America in real time. Taking our funding, sneaking in 40 million illegal aliens, funding them with our money, gaining more congressional seats, passing out ID cards, collecting totally legit voting ballots, rinse and repeat. Hashtag stop the steal. Speaking of which, let's play you a clip of this from Right Side Broadcasting. It's going to be music. Hang on. Is there a report here? Okay. President Trump. Jack Unheard says Elon Musk is reportedly going all in funding Republicans to help President Trump take back full control in November midterms. Elon says America is toast if the radical left wins. They will open the floodgates to illegal immigration and fraud. Won't be America anymore. The White House put this out. It's President Trump's Truth Social post. It says, quote, if Iran shots... Now, wait a minute. That was misspelled? Well, that's misspelled there. Not a good look. I assume he means shoots. If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Thomas Massey says, 1, we have problems at home and shouldn't be wasting military resources on another country's internal affairs. 2, military strikes on Iran require congressional authorization. 3, this threat isn't about freedom of speech in Iran. It's about the dollar, oil, and Israel. Well, number 3 is subjective. And it could be about a lot of stuff. And the fact that radical Islamic supremacist governments have taken over and dominated. You look at the map of Africa, for example, Middle East into Africa. The nations that used to be Christian have been overthrown by violent, radical, jihadi Islamic supremacists. That's concerning because that gets exported throughout the world. That's not nothing. That is something. But on point number 2, Thomas Massey is absolutely correct. Military strikes require congressional authorization, and we have problems at home, and we shouldn't be wasting military resources on another country's internal affairs. Hodge twins say, can we rescue Americans in America before we worry about Iran? What say you about this? About this message from President Trump? Dinette says the investors will buy up all the homes as soon as interest rates drop again. Yeah, we need our homes to be going to homeowners that live here in America. Like, I don't know what that looks like, but we all need a place to move into, to take care of, to anchor your communities that we can pay off as quickly as fucking possible. Oh yeah, 50-year mortgage. You'll own nothing and like it. Screw you. We all need a place to hang our hats that we can pay off as quickly as possible, because then you got to hurry up and make investments into it. You got to replace your HVAC. You got to do plumbing. You got to do roofing. You got to do painting. You have to do structural. You got to do electrical. Everything needs extra investment. America's strong when the people don't have to work themselves to the bone to come up short every single month. And if you don't have a plan to address that that's legitimate, you're going to get AOC, Commie Mamdani. I mean, the snake oil salesman whispering sweet nothings into the ear of your wife while that gigolo tries to bang her behind your back. Oh, you look so gorgeous tonight, sweetheart. Oh, I bet your man doesn't deserve you. He's barely paying any attention to you. Come with me. I'll treat you like a queen. Bangs her and leaves. That's what communists are. They're home wreckers. They bang you and they leave. They shake you upside down by your ankles, steal everything they can, and they leave. Who was that? Was that Cardi B or Nicki Minaj? One of them that said they were a stripper and they would drug their Johns and then rob them? Didn't somebody say that? Who was that? Oh. Okay, I'm seeing something from Scott Adams. Hang on a second. Cardi B or Nicki Minaj drug clients and rob them? ? Who was that? I do get this wrong. Cardi B openly admitted in 2016 Instagram Live that during her time as a stripper before her fame, she would lure men to hotels by implying sex, then drug them and rob them. I had to go strip. I had to go, oh yeah, if you want to F me, yeah, let's go back to this hotel. And I drugged ends up and I robbed them. That's what I used to do. She did it to survive with very limited options without drugging and robbing people, of course. Wasn't proud of it. That's Cardi B. Scott Adams has a favor to ask. If my work helped you or someone you know, please follow my biographer and good friend Joel Pollack and leave a comment here in case he wants to follow up with you on DMs. It gives me great joy to learn about any contribution I made. I tried to be useful. Joel Pollack, we interviewed you during your dust up with the Daily Show producers outside the Gay Republicans for Trump event. Okay, EVENT in Cleveland at the 2016 RNC. Scott Adams' work has been highly influential, and I'd love to unpack in great detail how much it helped us at TNAM. Okay. Whoa, what is this? Top Biden State Department advisor who's from Somalia raised a Somali flag at the Ohio State House? Do you see what's happening? Ohio has been conquered. What the hell is happening? Good God, people. All right, let's shift back over. So there's this new
чергове питання проведення президентських виборів
audio.
під час вашої зустрічі з Трампом. Чи наразі зроблені вами заяви
Vladimir
щодо
Zelensky.
їхнього
Do
проведення
you find this
звернення до
weird?
парламентів задовольнили запит американської сторони щодо цього?
Danette says, I yell at you all day. Yeah, I know.
Трампа
You're allowed to yell here. That's fine.
Ну, позиція моя чітка щодо виборів. Я сказав, я готовий, дайте безпеку, дайте зміни.
Danette says we need to make low interest rates for primary homes only.
Українців щодо зміни, це до нас.
I think maybe an American can have a second home.
Це стосується наших
Why not buy a second piece of property that we care deeply about and help people as they need to rent?
Я підтримую. Якщо
Maybe one investment home as well. Cap it at one investment home.
Про ті пункти,
Otherwise, yeah, the investors will ruin things. I agree.
Абсолютно все зрозуміло. Моя позиція, вона відкрита. Що стосується пропозиції президента Трампа або сигналів про те, що він
Okay, I don't want to listen to this moocher.
президента.
Here, I'll mute him. It was kind of fun, but I'll get him off the screen. Danette, if they could do something, they would. That goes to show you how bad the corruption is because they can't even do their jobs for fear of safety or lack of resources. Very convenient that Trump would say that, but the truth is Massey's right. They prop up violent regimes to facilitate the idea that freedom is needed when we probably funded those groups. Well, but there are the groups that Obama and the deep state funded, which are not the same ones that President Trump is aligned with. This is a removal of the old guard. There is a level of permanent destabilization that the deep state's been engaged with for 100 years. It's possible to believe that President Trump is trying to dismantle that, just like dismantling the flow of illicit drugs coming into our country to turn our citizens into fucking zombies, swaying and pissing themselves on the streets of San Francisco instead of becoming capable, productive members of society. And maybe every alphabet agency has been taking their cut and it's been funding their black operations for all these years. I know that gets dangerously close to saying trust the plan, but is there a commander-in-chief we've been able to trust our entire lives? President Trump has shown us some really important changes to the status quo that are necessary for our survival. So yeah, part of me wants to give that a chance because I don't think it's the same regime that Biden and Bush were, Obama were propping up in the Middle East, in Africa, globally. I don't think they're playing the same game. And yes, you said, I'm sorry, did they say 5 million? Yes. The mayor was trying to roll out a 5 million per person reparations for black residents. California didn't have slaves. America had a civil war to stop slavery. The Arabs and the Arabs, the Africans, were selling their own people into slavery. And America had a violent civil war in part to stop that practice. It's still happening in the Middle East and Africa today. Lake Leon says, America first and only. After we get our country back and out of debt, other countries can apply for loans and we can say, suck it. The original countrymen there don't want corporations and they're stealing their resources and their money. It's the same as using a different mask, but they use violent groups as covers. And then we fund those groups to secretly deliver freedom. And I'm yelling at you all day. I know. Yeah, why is another country's flag flying on our state's capital? It's an act of submission. It's a humiliation ritual. It's an act of humiliation. It's a humiliation ritual. There is no plan, says Lake Leon. Both sides want to keep fighting. Tons of money to be made on both sides. And that says have higher rates for second homes. How about higher rates on third homes? I like the idea of having a second place that's part of a real estate portfolio that we are actively managing for our personal retirement. I think that's a fantastic idea. One per person at 1% interest capped. Get something, pay it off, own it as a part of your portfolio. Be it a condo, be it a home. I love that idea. But yeah, after one second home, one investment, would you rather have your money in some bullshit stock market you can't trust, you can't touch, you can't rely on? Put all of your faith in a Federal Reserve private banking cartel note or a Wall Street fund or something that's all just imaginary, or to have a home somewhere in your city, to have a apartment or a condo that you've paid off, you have a cash value. If you needed to liquidate, you could sell it on the open market that week. I think that's a much better investment plan. You have skin in the game to give a shit about your community with a second home. So yeah, I would say after your second home. Anyway, check this out. Zelensky is translated to say it would be good if President Trump flew by plane directly to Ukraine rather than stopping in Poland. This would definitely allow us to count on a ceasefire. I'm sorry, what? Zelensky and his globalist puppet masters, according to PJ, would love to assassinate president and blame it on Russia. They need World War III in order to prevent the truth behind their failed proxy war being revealed. RT says Trump will support a ceasefire if he flies to Ukraine, according to Zelensky. Not to Poland and then travel by train, but to fly to Ukraine. Yeah, so Zelensky can hit him with the air raid siren theatrics, no doubt. Okay, there's that too. That's Russian propaganda. Zelensky says U.S. boots on the ground in Ukraine is being discussed, but troop deployment is up to the United States. And some weird stuff going on. Weird stuff. Zelensky invites Trump to visit Ukraine, to which he agreed. That was a year ago, though. Let's untweet that repost. This one just says, Zelensky wants Trump to visit. It's a setup. But wait until you find out the money in Ukraine. Wait till you find out about the audits from that. How many are receiving kickbacks? How much of this money is being stolen from underneath us? And we were screaming this every single day under the third Obama term of Joe Biden. Amuse reports that Jack Smith concedes Cassidy Hutchinson's January 6 testimony was fabricated hearsay. House Democrats knew that her testimony was false, but they sold it to the public as decisive evidence. Narrative first and facts later. Jim Verdi says, wait, so you're telling me the story of a 74-year-old Donald Trump choking out a much younger Secret Service agent while at the same time commandeering the limo he was riding in from a much younger Secret Service agent while in the back seat of said limo was false? No. And they used every lie and smear imaginable to try to ruin President Trump. If the deep state hates President Trump this much, it seems like he might be doing something right. Maybe not everything, but he's doing something right, doing something better than any other option we've ever seen. Svetlana Lakova says, here's a good article pointing out that the Mar-a-Lago raid was illegal, but it's a lot worse. The FBI knowingly did the illegal raid to snatch Crossfire Hurricane documents, which directly implicate Obama, Hillary, the CIA, and the FBI. I've been saying for years, says Svetlana Lakova. Based on my own evidence that the FBI Assistant Director of Counterintelligence, Alan Kohler, organized the raid. It's now been confirmed, see attached. Kohler did the raid on the orders of Christopher Wray and Lisa Monaco, an Obama crony who effectively ran the Biden Department of Justice with Maggie Goodlander, Jake Sullivan's wife, a top Hillary advisor. Also involved was Avril Haines, Brennan's former deputy director at the CIA, who was made director of national intelligence under Biden. The purpose of the raid was to seize and hide the Crossfire Hurricane documents, showing that the CIA, the FBI, and British intelligence coordinated anti-Trump operations out of England. President Trump declassified the documents, but Wray's FBI, Monaco, Obama, and Haines, Brennan, had them retroactively reclassified before the raid and then falsely accused President Trump of holding and distributing classified documents, endangering spies and operations. In fact, the documents endangered the deep state, showing that Stefan Halper and Christopher Steele, on Obama's orders, falsified intelligence of Donald Trump and his team to stop him from becoming president, and then in an attempt to overthrow him. Alan Kohler, the man who organized the raid, was previously the head of FBI London Station, working with Gina Haspel, the head of the CIA London Station. Kohler ran Christopher Steele and Stefan Halper, the two confidential human sources, on the Crossfire Hurricane anti-Trump FBI operation. Steele worked for Richard Dearlove, former head of MI6, which is the British CIA, and Dearlove is friends and business partners with Halper, a CIA operative who worked for Brennan and Haspel, as well as for the FBI. Halper is Mitch in Comey's notes, the guy in charge of the Hillary Clinton plan to tie Donald Trump to Russian intelligence. Obama ordered this operation, and both Halper and Steele were paid a lot of money by the Obama administration. The CIA, the FBI, and British intelligence implemented it. That's why Kohler, Monaco, and Haines had to remove and hide the evidence. Mike Davis there was putting this out. That's what Svetlana responded to. Mike Davis says the FBI knew Mar-a-Lago raid was illegal, but the Biden DOJ made them do it. Mario Knopfel reporting this. Catherine Herridge, CBS walked away from an Elon Musk interview because they couldn't control him. Control? Elon says 60 Minutes is a propaganda machine that lost their credibility a long time ago. Barry Weiss needs to clean house big time and not dabble around the edges. Take a listen to this.
I had conversations with some of the reporters connected to the Twitter files, and I was in my head thinking that there might be an opportunity to tell that story on CBS News. We had a number of topics under discussion. They didn't go as far as we had hoped. But at the end of the day, this opportunity to interview Elon Musk was developing. So I went to the CBS executives and I said, this is the opportunity that we have. He's saying, I want to do it live and on my platform. He's one of the most influential human beings on the planet. And the reaction from the executives was, well, we can't do it live. And I was like, what do you mean we can't do it live? I was like, well, we don't know what he's going to say. I was like, well, I'm thinking, isn't that the point of journalism? You don't know what the person's going to say? well, we have to, it has to be taped. We have to have the ability to edit it. It has to
So
be on
weird.
our platform. We have to control.
But by the way, Catherine Herridge, hasn't she been off the rails for... I'm trying to remember if I love Catherine Herridge or if I don't. Did she sell us out? Catherine Herridge. I might be confusing her with... who's that CNN lady? Christiane Namanpour. I know she's terrible, but I thought maybe Catherine Herridge left the reservation a few years ago. Maybe I'm having a hard time remembering if I generally like Catherine Herridge or if I've tuned her out over the years. Do you have a collective opinion on Catherine Herridge?
Journalism, you don't know what the person's going to say. Well, we have to, it has to be taped. We have to have the ability to edit it. It has to be on our platform. We have to control the platform. We talked at one point about whether we could do it sort of like a simulcast between the streaming network and maybe X, but everything just got shut down. It's one of the biggest interviews you could ever have. I felt so ashamed, frankly, that I never went back to Elon Musk and said, listen, they want to do it, but they've set all these conditions on it. I couldn't do that. This is someone whose DNA is free speech. And how do you tell someone who's committed to free speech that your network can only do it taped and only if they edit it, and
we'll do it live?
It can only be on their platform. I couldn't go back to him with that.
All right. Elon says 60 Minutes is a propaganda machine that lost their credibility a long time ago. Oh, I did read you that. Sorry. Owen Gregorian here says the Trump administration has halted child care payments nationwide until states provide evidence of legitimate spending, according to Blake Wolf, One American News Network. Is this a video I can watch? It's a lot of text. Well, anyway, I'll just give you that update and I'll give you Scott Adams' analysis. Continued prayers for Scott Adams. He's basically wrapping up his final affairs, it seems. Been a great show. I mean, for years and years, just try to listen to as many as I can. Scott says, I can't imagine any other president fixing the massive fraud problem. First, he had to dismantle the DEI mind virus. Second, he had to not be in on the scams directly or indirectly. Yeah, that's, I mean, 0 for 2 on the Democrats for sure. And most of the rhinos, the fake Republicans. Third, you need balls of steel to block these good sounding but corrupt schemes. All right. Oh, here we go. This is Zoran Mamdani the commie. As long as he smiles to you. And you're just going to slobber up all of his disgusting filth. Listen to this happy horse shit. How concerned should you be now that New York City has been conquered? 24 years after it was knocked to the ground. Swears in on a Quran.
We will draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. If our campaign demonstrated that the people of New York yearn for solidarity, then let this government foster it.
I'm going to play that again. Are you kidding me?
Because no matter what you eat, how you pray, or where you come from, the words that most define us are the two we all share: New Yorkers. We will draw.
We have a contender for most disgusting clip of 2026.
Draw this city closer together. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism.
We will replace the frigidity. Ooh, it's so frigid. Of rugged individualism. It must be removed. We can't be ruggedly individualistic. Yes, we can. That is our DNA, you pieces. Edit in real time.
It's the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
The warmth of collectivism. Go ahead in the comments. Tell me anytime the warmth of collectivism has worked. Oh, they just didn't do it right. How convenient. How convenient. The warmth of collectivism. Guy Benson says this is actually chilling. Jim Country says collectivism redistributes what individualism already created. The pitch is always shared prosperity, but the reality is shared poverty. Beware, says I Love America News. Communists killed 100 million people last century, and Democrats are communists now. The woke mind virus is communism rebranded, says Elon Musk. Kennedy has a great clap back to this claptrap, saying peeing in your pants also provides momentary warmth, but it's also fraught with disastrous consequences. That's clap back. That's just perfection. Replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. You serpent, you deceiver, you fraudster, you demon, be cast forth away from here. It's what every liar says before they destroy everything around them. Kennedy, peeing in your pants also provides momentary warmth, but it's also fraught with disastrous consequences. This is a long report here. What is this? St. James Heartline. Somalia Gate, the most dangerous internal threat the Democrats ever unleashed upon America, and that's saying a lot, considering all the horrific things they've done to the citizens of the U.S. What makes Somalia Gate so much more serious and disastrous for Americans is the fact that the Democrat Party is as integral part of the massive Somali fraud criminal conspiracy. Democratic Party leaders not only allowed the fraud, but they looked the other way while the fraud was occurring because Democrats wanted the Somali votes in campaign donations and campaign donations and campaign volunteers. Even worse, Democrat leaders have paraded their endorsement of Islam in every level of government and social construct to woo the Somali vote in Minnesota, Ohio, and elsewhere. This story is about to get a whole lot bigger and it will reach beyond fraud. It will expand into trafficking, organized crime, and other crimes. So there's this huge report. Take a look. Mila Joy reminds us that a quarantine, just as a reminder of what the Democrats did to us, quarantine is when you restrict the movement of sick people. Tyranny is when you restrict the movement of healthy people. Don't you dare forget it. Data Republican has a theory that WC Dispatch, Walter Kirk, and her came up with. 1, U.S. aid money goes to foreign non-governmental organizations. 2, foreign non-governmental organizations donate to American nonprofits. 3, these American umbrella nonprofits, such as Somali Education Resource Center, in turn own many smaller LLCs, such as child care or food service. 4, these LLCs donate back to the Democrat Party. Is this history's biggest money laundering operation? Beaver here says daycares in Minnesota donated a combined $35 million in political campaigns to the last 2 years. Context added, $35 million refers to government funding received by Minnesota daycares through the Child Care Assistance Program, not political donations made by campaigns. Original poster admits that he knows this fact, but says we have just stopped following the rules on that. So take a look. Grant Stinchfield says Kristi Noem is cranking lie detectors at Department of Homeland Security to the max, hunting down deep state leakers, sabotaging mass deportations and border security. Probes are ongoing on the Russia hoax, the J6 setup, the COVID fraud, and the 2020 stolen election and more. Are you feeling the weight after Trump's epic win? 2026 is the year of retribution, and it's gonna be a good year. Now, that's trust the plan shit. Show me. Prove it. I'm not holding my breath, and I'm not trusting any of you clowns. But man, do I hope so. Hello, Deb. Not from San Francisco. Welcome to the chat. Hit like, hit subscribe, everybody, by the way. Share the show with some friends. Let's double the show. We need you smart people to bring a few of your friends and family in. I don't know what that looks like. A direct text message, sharing it on Facebook, sending a direct message, a Snapchat, a WhatsApp. You got some friends groups, some text threads. Tell people about the show. Invite them into the chat room so we can all hang out. It's time to expand. Time to turn into the blob in a good way. Matt Van Swole says, hey, what are the odds a whole bunch of Somali immigrants are about to have injuries, illnesses, and fake babies? Bookmark this. Oh, boy. Arthur McWaters says, let me get this straight. In 1913, 0 American families paid an income tax? And then in 2025, every family pays income tax and about 2/3 is just covered fraud? We have become a tax farm for politicians to enrich themselves and anyone who they can import to vote for them. Take a look at these. U.S. collects $2.4 trillion in taxes and then spends $1.5 trillion on fraud. E says on January 1st, 26, just after midnight, an Islamist sympathizer was sworn in on the Quran as New York City's first Muslim mayor during a private ceremony. Hashtag never remember what Islamic supremacism does. L here says, learning that a good chunk of Muslim couples are considered Islamically married, but do not get state marriage licenses so the women can file for single mom benefits. That's a huge accusation. Paul says, wait until you find out most of the guys have 2 to 3 wives doing this at the same time. You keep hearing stuff like this. Could any of it be true? Oh my God. Alex Berenson says the inevitable whining about the fraud crackdown on government programs has begun. From the New York Times page today, Leandra Estes, a state employee, 42 years old, said a cutoff in federal funds for childcare would be devastating to her family. Her 2 adult children who live with her work at daycare centers. What? Her youngest child, who is 4, attends a subsidized daycare that still costs several $100s per week. Okay, read that again. Wait, what? Why can't Leandra send her youngest kid to one of the daycares where her older kids work? Also note, everyone in this family is on the state dime one way or another. No one has an unsubsidized private sector job. Adam Carolla says, I have a novel idea. Maybe people should take care of their own kids. Just Me says, that's just what I've been saying, Adam. Why in the world am I paying for someone's childcare? Stop all payments to all childcare centers. Adam Carolla says, remember 10 years ago I said feed your own kids and the left went nuts? It's better for the kids not to get hooked on the government. Ryan Saavedra reminds us about the warmth of collectivism. Yep. 100 years of communism and 100 million dead. The Bolshevik plague that began in Russia was the greatest catastrophe in human history. But you got Obama, Clinton, Biden, Harris, Waltz, Democrats pushing Mamdani, AOC, the same crap. We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism. That should make you ill to hear. John Solomon reports that GOP fiscal hawks are balking at $5.7 billion for refugees in the HHS funding bill of 26. What are they even talking about? Steadfast says if the House GOP allows this $6 billion for refugees, they're going to lose the midterms in every election beyond. We the people are done going without, so people who hate us and hate America can thrive. Send them back. Let them fight for their own country. It's time Americans fight for this country. Mike Lee says it would be past tone deaf to pass this. Libs of TikTok reports that Somalia's ambassador to the UN is a daycare administrator in Ohio. Can't make this up. Peter St. Onge says Somalia's entire economy is literally welfare fraud. Marina Medvin says Zoran Mamdani's inauguration ceremony included the socialist anthem, Bread and Roses. A socialist wife ironically wearing posh $650 footwear. Attendance by Mahmoud Khalil. Deleting pro-Jewish tweets left behind by the prior administration. Am I missing anything? Nyack here says, here's a breaking statement. Disturbing scenes emerging of young Iranian being detained by security forces. Footage circulating online shows arrests and violent confrontations during ongoing street protests. They call on world leaders and democratic governments to move beyond statements and take immediate concrete action. And once again, this person, Iranian guest in the UK, not Muslim, IT expert, a journalist, advocate for the downfall of the Islamic regime in Iran, which I am in favor of completely. But this whole trying to get Netanyahu and Trump to start an undeclared war, fuck that shit. Brendan Dilley says, let me explain something. You know about the fraud, not because you've lost your country. You know about the fraud because you've won your country back. Everything after this is retribution for the last 40 years. You're winners. Act accordingly. I kind of like that. Because we really do get into this woe is me crap. And I know two things can be simultaneously true, but still. Let's collect a few wins here and let's act like it. And of course, speaking of collecting, we do have Rumble Rants and Super Chats for anybody interested. Thank you for following. Share the show with a friend. Marion Cook says it's called generational welfare. It's sad for families. Yeah. I could tell you stories about 3, 4, 5 generations of Section 8 welfare right in the middle of Los Angeles, California. It is a industry. This isn't. They're having some temporary assistance is one thing. Building entire generational strategies based on how much you can take by doing as little as possible. Oh my God, this needs to change. You are absolutely right, Marion. That's generational welfare abuse. And that's what the Democrats teach everyone. John Doyle says immigrants will build businesses, buy franchises, using taxpayer-subsidized loan programs to obtain funds which they otherwise would never qualify for, do basically the same to get into a nicer house than the average American, then tell Americans that they're just jealous of their success. Damn. Cernovich says, yes, the myth of the lazy American has been laid bare. No one is lazy. It's simply impossible to compete at the mid-market level when immigrants get no down payment, low to no interest rate guaranteed loans, and become the new business owners. Exactly. FBI Director Kash Patel says the FBI and our partners arrested a 21-year-old alleged ISIS sympathizer in Texas following the terrorism investigation into attempts to provide bomb-making components and financial support to a designated foreign terrorist organization, etc. But Steve Friend says the FBI groomed a 21-year-old idiot to send them $40 in Bitcoin. When he wouldn't agree to build a bomb, they conned him into delivering nail polish remover as a bomb component. That's another way to say it. So FBI Director Kash Patel, you promised to end these entrapments. Why is this another lie? That's a fair question. Cernovich says daycares by law, you're supposed to keep detailed paper trails, sign in and sign out, head counts. Would take a half an hour to debunk Nick Shirley's reporting. You'd show the paperwork to CBS or NPR and then the Ring camera footage. Notice this hasn't been done for that reason. Nirvana Mahmood says apparently the BBC is not covering the anti-mullahs protest in Iran because it has no correspondents on the ground. Oh, really? Well, that excuse didn't stop the BBC from describing what happened in Gaza as genocide, right? Eyal Yacobi says breaking thousands have taken to the streets of Isfahan protesting the Islamic Republic. Iran is called for help from Russia. Why would Russia help an Islamic Republic as their security forces are being overrun by Iranians in multiple cities? I don't know the full context of any of these videos, as I tell you every time I play a video. By the way. Got Nimbus in the program. He said, hold on. Whoop, 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 whoop. You don't want to sit there? You want to come up here instead? All right, all right. Let's not step on the equipment today. That's why I tried to keep you a little lower. Anyway, something big is happening in Iran. What is this on CNN?
Breaking news, the Wall Street Journal is out with a new report describing the fallout between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. The Journal reports that a spa worker from Mar-a-Lago often made house calls to Jeffrey Epstein's home, 2 miles away. But those house calls, quote, came to a halt in 2003 after an 18-year-old beautician returned to the club from a house call to Epstein and reported to managers that he had pressured her for sex. The HR manager faxed Trump a letter suggesting that the club ban Epstein, and Trump agreed, which does mirror the president's own public comments about why he cut ties with Epstein. The White House is responding to the Wall Street Journal, writing, no matter how many times this story is told and retold, the truth remains President Trump did nothing wrong, and he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep.
He cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein long before Epstein became a convicted sex offender. A lot of Democrats didn't, and it is corroborated by the Wall Street Journal tonight.
Breaking news.
This video is blurry. I don't think it's a deep fake. I don't think it's AI, but you never know. But that story's been out there for a very long time. Ah, yeah. Robbie Starbuck says Scott is and has been a national treasure. I don't think he even knows how loved he is. We should all remind him now. Scott, you've made a gargantuan difference and inspired the change makers of tomorrow. Your legacy will live through everyone you inspired. So let's listen to Scott. Now paralyzed, was in the hospital. He's now back at home. Definitely a mentor of mine. Take a listen to Scott in his own words here.
I talked to my radiologist yesterday. He was working on the day before New Year's, and it's all bad news. So the odds of me recovering are essentially zero. So I'll give you any updates if that changes, but it won't. So there's no chance I'll get my feeling back in my legs. And I've got some ongoing heart failure, which is making it difficult to breathe sometimes during the day. But at the moment, I can breathe, and I'm not in any pain. However, you should prepare yourself that January will be probably a month of transition, one way or the other. Now, I haven't made any decisions, but it was all bad news. No good news at all. So I will keep doing this as long as it makes sense, because I like doing it. Keeps me busy. You know, what's weird is that I have much bigger problems than the stuff I'm talking about in the news, but I'm so interested in like what's happening in the world that it's very engaging, totally engaging. So after the show, I will continue doing a Robust Read News comic, which I do every day. I try to. And I'll try to make some new comics, Dilbert comics. And I'll just act like nothing's happening. I'll just pretend I have no problems. Which is weirder, it's easier than you think. Then I'll take some painkillers if I need them. There's no real limit to what I can take at this point. And I'll probably smoke massive amounts of marijuana because it puts me into a stupor that actually feels kind of good. In my current situation, if I do a full day's work, which I plan to do, I allow myself to enter the stupor zone. I mean, yesterday, for example, I was doing work and watching the Warriors game, high as a kite. It wasn't bad. The only thing that's really bugging me at the moment is the inability to breathe if I get one of these coughing attacks. And that could last hours. It could last 8 to 12 hours. So it's 8 to 12 hours of hell, but it's not always hell. So, but things are changing fast. So I thought I'd give you a little update on that. Has anybody gotten an update on Victor Davis Hanson? Because I know he had some major surgery, but we don't know what that was about. I hope he's doing better than I am. Yep, and I do appreciate all of your thoughts. I will probably write down some closing thoughts today, just so I have them. Just so you can see what I was thinking in my final glide path.
My final glide path.
He's recovering? Good. Good for him. Well, I will tell you that my interest and my empathy for all of you and for Americans in general is very high. So to my final breath, if there's anything I can do to make things better for you, I will definitely do it. All right, we're past the entertaining part of the show. And I don't want to get your year off to a bad start. But there will be more to come. All right, people, I'm going to say hi to the locals, beloved people privately. The rest of you, I'll see you tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Scott's been a really important voice for 100 reasons. But his whole getting called out for, or getting canceled for calling out the racism of DEI, having been multiple times passed over for promotions and fired from multiple opportunities for being a straight white Christian man, or I don't know if he is Christian, a straight white man. And then canceled because he says, there have been a lot of brainwashing techniques by the school systems, the Democrats and the media to make various populations, non-white populations, hate white people. It's really dark. It's really gross. It's really racist. It's the Obama doctrine. Not that he invented it, but he mastered it and weaponized it in a way we'd never seen. And when he said, if you're living around a bunch of people that have been brainwashed to hate you, for your own safety, get the fuck away. Oh no, you should cancel him. They took his cartoon out of newspapers. They tried to shut him down everywhere imaginable. It's just dark. There is a dark hatred out there. Frankly, for people that look like Scott and myself. Pasty dudes. It's really weird. Because I think most good people don't spend much time at all worrying about what someone looks like. People like Scott and I normally only care about how people act, how they behave, how they treat other people. That's what we were supposed to be doing. Judging a man by the content of his character, not the color of his skin. And the Democrats have been doing the exact opposite. DEI is literally about judging people based on what they look like, not on who they are. That is the most vile way to operate, and that's what they've been peddling for decades. They burned America down in 2020 over an isolated overdose that looked bad. It looked like a murder on camera. It was a fentanyl overdose, a heart attack, a panic attack, a fentanyl overdose, using the same knee restraint that Minneapolis taught him. Oh, Minneapolis again. And the Democrats shrieked and shrieked and shrieked and shrieked and burned the country down to try to turn it into some sort of referendum on President Trump being an evil white guy. That's all the Democrats have been doing. They're importing non-white guys and then saying white guys are bad, destroy them, burn the cities down, overthrow the government, take out Trump. By hook or by crook, do whatever it takes. And Scott found himself right at the middle of that. Passed over at AT&T. He was called in by a manager and said, look, you're doing a great job here. Or he was at a bank, or he was at a telephone company. I think it was AT&T. Bank of America. I don't know what bank he worked at, but he talks about it from time to time. Multiple people said, I can't promote you. You're a white guy. I am not allowed to promote white people. So he found himself at the corner, as the cornerstone, at the foundation of all of this mess, at a time when President Trump, despite all odds and multiple assassination attempts from the left who don't have good ideas, so they get violent, failed to eliminate President Trump prior to 2024's election. And now for a year, it's been a pushback, a snapback, a blowback to the racism of DEI, the discrimination, the bigotry, the theft, the fraud, the waste, the abuse of the deep state Democrats who've sold this country out to the highest bidder, to gut us out and fundamentally transform the United States of America. Yeah. For real, though. Yeah, G, content of their character and not the color of their skin. Where have I heard that before? Just kidding. Great concept. Exactly. If you're from the generation where Gen X, Zennial, Millennial, before Obama hitting the scene in 2007, I mean, there was so little give a shit about what anyone looked like, about color of the skin. You'd find isolated stories here or there. Oh, this and that here and there, fine. But it wasn't a big issue because it's still not a big issue, except the Democrats won't stop trying to pretend like it is. They won't stop trying to divide this nation so that they can plunder us of our wealth. Us being Americans, not white people, not men, just Americans, to loot this country. And they just think if you can find a common enemy, then they can use that to bludgeon the rest of us. Sit down, shut up, you'll lose your job, you'll lose your monetization, you'll lose your platform. You're not allowed to talk, you can't exist, you can't run your cartoon, you can't have your podcast. You can't get advertising revenue, you can't run a business, you can't process your credit card payment, you can't have your Give, Send, Go, you can't have your GoFundMe account up. That is how vindictive and violent the left is. And the left has linked their arms with Islamic supremacists. This is a dangerous coalition. The lefties waving their rainbow flags. You are the prey. Don't you understand? Teaming up with radical Islamic supremacists, they're coming to get you. They don't tolerate you existing. Whereas the rest of America is like, yeah, you know, pretty libertarian. Do your thing. Just don't force it on other people, you know. Yeah, well, you're trying to force your Christianity on people. What? You mean like the 10 commandments of like, don't covet your neighbor's shit? Yeah, the commies hate that because their whole ideology, the Marxists, Leninists, communists, globalists, it's to rile people up and make them jealous of successful people. That's why they hate Christianity. Because it says, don't covet your neighbor's shit. Don't covet their oxen. Don't covet their wife. Let them be. Stay out of their stuff. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about you. Level up you. Work on you. Don't steal. Don't bear a false witness and try to frame President Trump for something he never did. That's why the commies hate Christianity. They can't stand it. Because it's accountability. It is rugged individualism. It's self-determinism. Because either the soul is real and your decisions impact reality and your decisions matter, or they don't. Nothing matters. And if nothing matters, go get them. Go get the successful people. Pitchforks and torches. Go get them. Look at South Africa. Look at Nigeria. Look what they're trying to do globally. yelling and yipping and complaining about a genocide in Palestine after you started the fucking war with your neighbors, butchering 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, 1,600, whatever the actual number was. The Islamic supremacists butchered 1,400 of their neighbors. And then, woe is me, they're trying to genocide us. You fuckers started a fucking war. Look what's happening in Nigeria, wiping out the Christians. Look what's happening in Iran. Hey, you got to wear this ghost costume in 135-degree weather. You're subservient. You're subhuman. This is now Islamic supremacist nation. Deal with it. Well, in the 70s, Iran used to be a pretty decent place before that form of governance took hold. And remember, there was supposed to be a green revolution. I think that was in 07. What year was that? It wasn't 07. Let me ask Grok. What year did Obama not back the people of Iran in their green revolution? He backed the Islamic supremacists because he's a Manchurian candidate. He's a Trojan horse. 09? So that would have been within a year of him taking office, I guess, if he took office in January of 09. 09. Notably cautious and muted approach, declining to provide public support or assistance to the protesters. Obama later admitted in 2022 that not supporting the 09 protests was a mistake. Yeah. The decision included directing the CIA not to aid the opposition, despite secret outreach from Iranian leaders seeking U.S. support. First year on the job, Obama has a chance to support the people against their oppressive Islamic supremacist abusers who ran Iran into the ground. Nope. No, he backed the bad guys while flooding America with tens of millions of people who hate us. So yeah, there's that. Content of their character. That's how we were raised. That's how things were when I was a kid. That's the country I'd like to go back to, honestly. Just a decent place where, let people do their thing. Just, nobody's going to try to force you under coercion of threat of violence, which is what Islam is. If you follow the tenets, you are an Islamic supremacist trying to push for a caliphate globally to dominate everything around you. That's very oppressive. That's very violent. That's very aggressive. That's very unacceptable. And Obama, of course, did not support the people of Iran. He supported the oppressive regime while flooding America with other Islamists who hate this country and want to overthrow it. So you lock in to all the big blue cities and you overthrow the will of the rest of the state that votes red. The whole state votes red except for these centers where you're flooding, artificially throwing in millions and millions and millions and millions of people. Giving out identification cards, driver's license, making it illegal to verify that you're a citizen and that you're even eligible to vote in places like California. It's insane. The fraud, the waste, the abuse, the theft, the treason is all on display. And we're just saying, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, President Trump. So what the hell are you waiting for? Chester Bennington sang that. So what the hell are you waiting for? So look what you made me do. It was with Numb mixed with something from Jay-Z. That mashup, great song. So we end our first week of 2026, everybody. Happy New Year. I don't know. I know I'm supposed to care about the college football playoffs because, reasons. And it was interesting watching the other games, but let me just tell you who won because we're down to the final four. I clicked on what it was supposed to be. All right, down to 4 teams. Number 10, Miami, or number 6, Ole Miss will play in the Fiesta Bowl. And number 1, Indiana, and number 5, Oregon, are going to play in the Peach Bowl. So your national champion this year, which will be played, let's see, the next batch of games will be January 8 and 9. January 8 and 9 next week, with the championship being in Miami Gardens, Florida, January 19th. So it's either Oregon or Indiana, or the winner of Ole Miss, Miami, will play in the championship. So anyway, stay tuned for the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. We'll do some shows about it. What's up, buddy? Wow, Nimbus getting loud over there. Just fed him lunch, and he's still yapping. Anyway, that's the extent of the prepared remarks that I have. But, of course, as always, how about them Hoosiers, says Marion. Indiana is real good. Yeah, so don't sleep on Miami. You don't just accidentally go in and beat Ohio State. Like, Indiana and Miami are both very good. I wish we played better. I wish I could blame the refs. It was just we got beaten. And we're the defending champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Both Indiana and Miami are very good. I would not be surprised to see Indiana versus Miami. If you can take out the Buckeyes, you're bringing something to the table. No, it was Hoosiers, not Hooters. It was Hoosiers, not Hooters. Come on, you know better. Lake Leon, why would you say that? By the way, on a completely unrelated note, please make sure you check out Strictly Football with myself, Mike Barrett, Jim Mitchell, Ezra L. Robinson. Yesterday's program is a preview for the upcoming NFL week. So thank you all for coming around the mountain when she comes. Thanks for coming around today. David says, Miami is my favorite college team. All right. My Buckeyes, man. We got bounced. It was not our year. Doggone it. Wish it was. Oh, well. Final regular season NFL week is this week. The Buccaneers need help. They need to win against the Carolina Panthers and have the Falcons lose to the Saints to make the playoffs. Otherwise, the Carolina Panthers get in. Then in the AFC, the Ravens play the Steelers. Winner goes to the playoffs. So that's pretty cool. I like when the playoffs start a week early. Pretty exciting. Congratulations to anyone playing fantasy football and won your fantasy football playoffs, by the way. I made the playoffs in 2 leagues, and I lost the championship. I wasn't able to make a championship game even in either league. So congrats to everybody who did, because that's all wrapped up now. So let me sign out now, but please scroll through the rest of our feed on X, because there's stories we didn't get to. We cover so many stories, there's no way we could get to them all. But you can find us in all those places and get the updates on what's happening in the world. And we gather here to dump it all on the table and sift edible bananas from baby diapers. Separating fact from fiction, fake news from fact, trash from treasure. And yes, David, Josh Allen is sitting this weekend. A lot of people are sitting this weekend for a lot of teams because it just doesn't matter. So, good luck trying to wager on the games on top of not knowing how to wager. But we walk through that on Strictly Football. Jim Mitchell brings the betting trends to us. Mike Barra and Ezra Robinson kind of oversee and offer their thoughts. And we make our picks. We're all pretty close. We're all within about 5 picks of each other for the season lead. Regarding if you bet every game straight up, who would win? I mean, I got a pretty good record on the season. My record is, let me check the leaderboard. On the leaderboard here, I am 158 and 98. That's like 16 and 10. That's okay. Mike Barra is 163 and 93. He's up by 5 on me. And Jim is right in the middle at 160 and 96, I think. So it's a good time. Join us. We can't talk about, frustrating political things all the time. It's a nice break. A little chance to break the monotony. And your comments are definitely helpful. We appreciate having all of your jokes and your participation in our chat room. It makes it fun. So thank you all for being here. I don't know if I'm going to do a show tomorrow at noon. I might. I reserve the right not to. Same with streaming the Browns game on Sunday. Maybe not. Not entirely certain. But I will definitely be back planning on noon Eastern time on Monday. So, signing out on behalf of everybody out there in the TNAM universe. Consider subscribing on Patreon, Rumble, or YouTube. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.